Authorities in Russian-occupied Crimea say a massive oil terminal fire was caused by a Ukrainian drone attack. Kyiv does not deny the claim. Both sides appear to be stepping up airstrikes before a long-awaited Ukrainian counteroffensive.
Moscow installed authorities at the port of Sevastopol say they brought the fire quickly under control. But not before the blaze burnt through tons of oil products. Kyiv did not claim responsibility for the attack. Ukraine's military intelligence chief said a higher power was at work, claiming the incident was God's punishment for an earlier wave of Russian airstrikes on Ukraine. Those strikes were the first large-scale air attacks on Ukraine for almost 2 months. Ukraine's president again called on Western allies to supply more air defences.
Our Air Force managed to shoot down most of the Russian missiles, 21 out of 23 fired. And it proves once again that you can only stop terror with weaponry, air defences, modern aviation, without which air defences cannot be fully effective, artillery and armoured vehicles.
One of the Russian missiles that evaded Ukraine's air defence hit an apartment block in Uman, a city far from the front line. It killed dozens of people, including children. Residents watched the rescue crews in grief.
My neighbours are gone. No one is left.
Despite the civilian casualties, Russia's defense ministry said the military had been targeting Ukrainian army reserve units with the strikes. Meanwhile, Moscow said several people had died after Ukrainian forces shelled the city of Donetsk. Kyiv has announced that preparations for its long-awaited counteroffensive are complete, but it's not known when that push might begin.
Marina Miron is with the Defence Studies Department at King's College in London and joins us now for more insight. Can you tell us about the situation in Sevastopol? Not surprisingly, there are conflicting claims over the cause of the fire. What do you make of it?
Good evening. Well, the situation seems, at least according to the Russian sources, that the fire has been contained and that no civilians have been harmed. However, the problem is that the Russian side is now claiming that the Ukrainian side used a drone to attack Sevastopol, meaning that Crimea is vulnerable, and so it puts Russia on its back toes because Ukraine is showing, basically signaling that it might go for Crimea, and we're hearing again this nuclear rhetoric from Dmitry Medvedev, who is threatening to use nuclear weapons should Ukraine try to take Crimea.
And just going back to what may or may not have provoked that Ukrainian attack, if that's what it was, why has Russia now stepped up its attacks on Ukrainian cities?
Well, we have seen those attacks before. They started on October 17th when General Surovikin took control of the special military operation. And the idea was to basically reduce the Ukrainian armed forces' capabilities, or so the Russian narrative goes. And so there are a few possibilities here of what might have happened. British intelligence says that it was ineffective targeting and that Russia was trying to prevent the Ukrainian forces from mounting the counteroffensive. So Russia is trying to destroy the capability before a counteroffensive takes place, because the picture for the Russian forces doesn't look as good, according to Yevgeny Prigozhin, who is saying that Russian armed forces lack the necessary leadership to defend their positions. The other possibility is coercing civilians in order to make this war much more costly. And the worrying part about it is that Russia, using long-range strikes, can strike anywhere within Ukraine far away from the battlefield, which creates a problem for President Zelensky, because he is not capable of protecting Ukrainians, and it creates more pressure on the West to deliver some sort of air defenses in order to be able to counteract this effect.
Okay, thank you so much for that insight. That was Marina Miron at King's College, London.
Thank you for having me.